Welcome back to another episode of MotoGP Mac, and today we're going to talk about day 2 of the shakedown test. Now, the weather that the rider found themselves with again this morning was not pleasant. There was a light sprinkling of rain that, let's just say, continued for the whole day, so actually stopped the riders going out on slick tyres. It was mainly wets for the complete day until 5 p.m, and then everyone had an old blast and to see what they could do. I suppose overall, again, it was another test day where the laps completed by each rider were quite low. I think Piro completed the most amount of laps, followed up closely by Stefan Bradl on the Honda. But let's just go through some of the teams and riders and how they got on. Yamaha with Crutchlow and 2 other test riders from Japan had 3 bikes out. Now, each rider was swapping between bikes, but the specification of bikes that Yamaha were running were 223 bikes with old aero and a 22 bike for reference. Now, when I say old aero, they were using the long aero or the duckbill type aero that they were using last season. Also, the short nose version of that duckbill. However, towards the end of the session, when the track was drying out, Crutchlow did try a new nose cone on the front of the bike. Here you will see that it is the main core of the nose cone is similar to the one they tested in Valencia. However, the wings that are attached to it are very, very different. It seems like they're using the lower planes of like the Ducati Aprilia type combination, but it's just the lower main plane part right now. Interestingly enough, Crutchlow's 330.2 kilometer an hour top speed yesterday was 0.1 faster than they were in the race weekend top speed. So there's no major improvement that we can see yet from the top speed of the Yamaha, unfortunately. Up next, KTM again. Danny Pedrosa. They're actually saying about Danny Pedrosa that KTM are turning on and turning off his transponder. So if he's going for a fast lap, they are turning it off. So they say though that Pedrosa was faster than Crutchlow yesterday, but the transponder was turned off. No major updates on KTM just yet. We don't have the pictures of that new chassis. Definitely want to have a look at it. And no sign of the new aero either, which I think it would be too early anyway. Up next, it's Aprilia. I spotted quite a lot with the Aprilia bike, if I'm very honest. Here you will see, and the top of the nose cone there, towards the very top of it, you will see that there's a vent in here. Also, you will see the lower half of the fairing, which I showed you yesterday, but what I didn't capture yesterday was that is completely different at the front. The front now has what I would class as a beak compared to last year's one that was flat. So interesting to see what they're doing there. Also, the rear end of the bike is a little bit different as well. As you can see, it's a little bit what I would class as more tidy than last year's version. Ducati. Piro got the most amount of laps in all conditions. Interestingly enough, they were back-to-backing the downward ducks. They were back on this morning and this afternoon, but also they were running the new type fairing or new type side pad fairing for this year. So it's definitely an interesting area where they're really focusing on. Honda, again, Bradl got a good number of laps in compared to other riders. Don't really see any updates on the Honda, and I don't expect really anything major on the aero side. It's more so about time and laps, being very honest, but this test for everyone is not really a great test with the weather. They're just not getting the laps in that they wanted. Also, I suppose with the lack of dry running, they're not able to put the loads that they wanted through the chassis and the tires to get an understanding of what's going on with the bike. Augusto Fernandez did well again today 6/10 of a second behind. I think it was Crutchlow on test bike 3. He only did complete 7 laps on one bike and 19 laps on another, so he did 26 laps in total. Interestingly enough, he just needs time in laps. The weather's not really playing ball for him, but I think he did get a lot out of it. One rider I'm quite worried about, I would suppose, is Folger. He did get a good lap in towards the end of the session. However, how would I call it? He's not he's 2 seconds off in the drying track. He did get 23 laps in, which I suppose is good, but they do need to close the gap a small bit. As you see, Pedrosa is missing, so it just shows you that they're not running his transponders, so we just don't know what times that Danny is able to do. But I would definitely love to know your thoughts. What do you think of day 2? What have you seen or heard that I haven't mentioned? Definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.